Welcome to Wednesday's Word of Wisdom. Today we're going to get real, we're going to get raw, we're going to get candid. Come on back and find out what we have for you. And we're back. All right, so we're going to let you in on something that happened to us over the weekend. So we're going to be transparent, we're going to be candid. So Saturday was one of those days where we're doing some DIY projects around the house. Now, if a husband and wife trying to DIY some stuff, gets a little bit tension going on. So we've been simmering with some tension, right? Trying to get things taken care of, trying to, learn things as we're fixing things, right? So it had been a little tension. It's just two of us home, and there'd been some tension as we're trying to do these projects, right? It had gotten late in the afternoon, and we were going to leave the home. And so there was even tension in that, deciding what we're going to do, where we're going to go, right? It was just one of them days the enemy was busy. And so we decided that we were going to leave. We got in the vehicle and we left. And guys, no sooner than we pulled down our street, we started arguing. And we were going at it, right? We were like, all we needed was boxing gloves and it would have been over, right? We were just butting heads, going at it, not in the best manner of handling the frustrations that we had throughout the day. But eventually, by the time we got on the highway, we simmered down, said our apologies, and even talked about it some more by the time we got to our destination. Went on and we came back home. As we were pulling into the driveway, we saw a huge branch. So if any of you have been to our property or our home, I say property like we own big property, right? If anybody's been to our home, we have a few large trees on our property. And so there's one where that hangs over where David usually parks his vehicle that had a large branch that had crashed right in the exact spot in which he would have been parked. And we went back and we checked the security cameras and we looked. And the very moment that we had left and we were arguing, that branch had fallen. And we looked at the timestamps, looked at everything, and it lines up. So the moment when we were in the heat of the argument, that was when the branch crashed. And we felt convicted. We sat and we talked about it and said, in our ignorance, in our disobedience, God was still faithful to us. So while we were not being the best of Christ-like to each other in that moment, God was still protecting us. He was still watching over us. He was still caring for us. And we were just convicted. We said, oh my goodness, what a good God that we serve, that even when we're on our worst behavior, He still loves us. He still cares for us.
And it made me think about God as our Father, as Bishop preached on Sunday. God as our Father. How many of you as parents, and your children are just so bad, do you love them any less? When they're acting up and they're cutting up, especially as the older they get, the worse they seem to get sometimes. We don't love them any less. We just can get irritated and we get mad at them. But God isn't like that with us.
Yes.
This is a perfect example. We weren't even thinking anything of it, but the timestamp 3 minutes after we pulled out of that driveway. We could have been without a car. We could have, if we had been in the car, still sitting there fighting, we could have lost our lives too. That's how big this branch was. It was heavy trying to get that thing down and get it out of the driveway. So what are we doing when we're not putting God first? What are we doing? What are we thinking? It got me to this point of like, life is short. So why are we in the flesh more than we are in the spirit? In the times like that, no warning. We didn't even think anything else of it. And then we come home, it's like, oh my gosh. So God, even in our disobedience, He is faithful.
Yes.
So you know the story of the prodigal son, where the father's out and he sees his son coming. He comes running. That father had never left. We're the ones that move.
Yes.
We need to come running back to the Father. And He's going to come running probably at a faster pace than you are to meet you right there.
With arms open wide, saying, I've been waiting for you. So we are going to try to live intentionally this week, and even from now on, as we keep that in the forefront of our mind, the faithfulness of God, the goodness of God. And it just makes me want to live more on fire and more for the Lord and more in obedience, knowing, just seeing. And we say it and we sing the songs, but it's not until you come face to face with it and you realize His faithfulness even when we are unfaithful. So that is our challenge this week, that we would step our game up, right? That we would try to be more obedient, more on fire, and in tune with our Heavenly Father, and living and fulfilling the purpose that He has for our lives and your life. Until next time, God bless you and goodbye.